I took him around to seek many treatments. If he has a good karma, he will recover.
If you have good karma, then you will be cured.
I hope so.
Nam mô Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Nam mô Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Nam mô Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Nam mô Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma.
1 เดือนแล้วดีขึ้นบ้างไหม
Are you feeling better?
ก็เหมือนเดิมนะครับ
It's still the same. I can't control anything.
อยู่ต่ออีกหน่อยเดี๋ยวก็ดีขึ้น
Stay longer here, then you'll get better.
I hope so. How long will you stay?
ก็ว่าจะอยู่ให้นานที่สุด
I plan to stay longer. If I can't make it,
ก็ไม่อยู่ใหม่
I will do it next time.
ไม่รู้ว่าผมจะหายหรือเปล่า
I don't know whether I will be cured or not.
Surely you will.
I went for traditional treatments for 4 years, based on herbs and mantras every way, but they could not cure me. My father had to sell his boat to build me a house and pay my medical treatments. Hopelessly, I had to return and stay in Nakhon Sawan. I was thinking how I would make myself useful to others under this handicap condition, because if I let my life to carry on like this, I would live in misery. I might as well make the best of it. I therefore asked myself how I could make my life worthwhile and useful to myself and others, and how I could make the best use of my disability.
To console ourselves, we turn to study Dharma at various temples. We brought back Dharma books and tapes for Kampol and share Dharma talks with him.
เราก็ไม่มีอะไรจะทำปฏิบัติธรรมทำใจ ให้ทำใจ
คุณแม่
My mother is my first Dharma teacher. I intended to be ordained as a monk, but missed the opportunity of doing good. She inspired me to study Dharma by reading Dharma books and listening to tapes. I might as well turn to study of the Dharma by reading books or listening to tapes provided by my father. By doing so, I would accumulate some merits and good deeds before death. It will be better than letting my mind wander aimlessly without any meaning, which is a waste of time. So I try to concentrate my mind and focus on matters of the Dharma only. My first Dharma book was Handbook for Mankind, written by Buddha Dasa Bhikkhu of Swan Mokkapalaram Forest Monastery. I had been reading this book for 16 years. What I learned from the book is the truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, and the path leading to cessation of suffering. The Dharma has freed my mind from all stress and worries. Dharma has taught me truth of existence. However, at that time, I did not think of practicing meditation because I mistakenly believed that a disabled person like me would not be able to do any mental training, as I spent most of my time in bed. I could neither sit nor do walking meditation, so I thought it was impossible for me to practice. My father experienced suffering as much as I did. He pinned his hope on me, and I disappointed him. My father looking for a means to end suffering by going to various temples and monasteries where the Dharma and meditation sessions were being taught. Each time he came back from there, he would bring me Dharma books and tips, or tell us the method of mental training at the place he had been to. I felt that he wanted to persuade me to study Dharma, which is good for me and the family. Right now, my father had passed away peacefully in 2001 without any worries.
ท่านจากไปด้วยความสงบไม่มีความวิตกกังวลอะไรเลย
I would say that he had fulfilled his duties as a father.
ทำหน้าที่ของพ่อได้อย่างสมบูรณ์ คุณพ่อ
Father introduced me to Miss Monvipa. She encouraged me to write to Lumpo Kamkian Suwano of Sukato Forest Monastery in Kangkrok district of Chayapom province to seek advice on the method of Dharma practice for disabled people.
คุณกำพลคนพิการก็สามารถปฏิบัติธรรมได้นะ
ด้วยความปิติในวันนั้น
I received a reply from Lumpo, and he advised me that it is possible to train one's mind despite being physically deformed. I have the enthusiasm to practice. I started my practice immediately by laying my back, concentrating on being aware of each turning of the hands. I first started with my right hand and be aware of my hand movement. Later, I became aware of my bodily movement in the present moment. I think I have practiced the right path. I realized that physical disability is only an inconvenience. Body is the body, rupa, and the mind is the mind, nama. My mind must detach from physical disability. My mind can choose either to be happy or sad.
ที่แรกก็ได้ยินแต่ข่าว
I had received a letter from Kampol to seek advice from me. He told me about his health condition, and he is a disabled person. He has good handwriting, and he was searching for a way to end his suffering. He was interested to practice Dharma. He is practicing only one posture, lying position. He asked me whether he can be my student. I was very happy to be his spiritual friend. Kampol told me he is a disabled person and asked me whether he can practice meditation or not. I advised him, as long as you are still breathing, you can practice. I asked him to observe breathing in and out mindfully. I also advised him to be aware of oneself constantly in the present moment. If you can turn your hand, you can do so.
I started practicing as advised by Lumpo. Whenever I had doubts, I would write to Lumpo for about 6 times, which made him wonder about my practice. Lumpo started to be interested in me. He sent a monk to visit me. Later, he invited me to his temple.
I have been corresponding with him for a few years. I found that Kampol has attained a certain level, and he is not like a normal meditator. I had asked my disciple to visit him and find out more about him. My disciple took some video of him and showed it to me. I built a kuti for him to practice in my temple.
Later, I went to stay in Sukato Forest Monastery, which is near Lumpo residence place. I do not feel lonely anymore. Every day, I share Dharma and my experience with monks and lay people. They discuss Dharma with me. They usually ask me how to be free from suffering and to live a happy life. The teaching of Lumpo is awareness. Lumpo's line of practice is to develop self-awareness through physical movements. He does not encourage a lot of discussion. His advice and techniques in developing awareness are mainly from his own experience, not from books. Lumpo learned this technique from Lumpo Tian Chitasupo. The meditation method is to observe our physical movements in every posture and to watch the mind at the moment it thinks. Lumpo said that Lumpo Tian was a man who can speak right Dharma. He could draw a huge crowd who listened to his Dharma talks with right understanding.